Have you ever had the impression of hearing voices and have visions that seem reserved only for you? And again, have you ever had the impression of experiencing a situation you have already experienced in the past? Or, on the contrary, to experience something in advance, as in a sort of premonition? There are experiences that only some of us live through during our lives, strange and unusual experiences, sometimes even disturbing. In this video, thanks to a Zen story, we will analyze the 12 strange signs that only highly spiritual people experience, that is, those endowed with a gift that makes them different from the masses. So stay until the end because you will find out if you too have lived, or continue to live, some of these strange experiences, and what you hear will excite you, literally leaving you breathless. But before continuing, if you are not yet one of us, subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications to be updated when we publish new spiritual and personal growth content. In a quiet Buddhist monastery located in Tibet, among lotus flowers and incense-filled air, the nun Zhuan, despite her young age, radiated extraordinary wisdom and a deep connection with the divine. One day, a young disciple worried about some strange events that were happening in his life, approached the teacher asking her if she could help him clarify things. Teacher Guan, for a few months now I have been experiencing experiences that leave me with a certain uneasiness. Can you help me understand what is happening to me? He asked anxiously. Guan, with a compassionate smile, asked the young man to tell her in detail what he was referring to. After listening to him and understanding what it was about, he decided to share with him the strange things that only happen to those who possess a spiritual gift. Dear friend, Zhuan began in a reassuring voice. Thanks to your stories, I understand that you are experiencing a spiritual awakening. So be calm, because your spiritual path will be a unique and extraordinary journey. As the young man listened with extreme attention to his mentor's words, Guan stated, I want to share with you the 12 quirks that often accompany spiritual awakening, hoping that they can give you clarity and inspiration. The first oddity I want to tell you about concerns the vivid dreams you told me about. Imagine your dreams as secret doors to deeper dimensions of your consciousness, Zhuan explained. They are like intricate maps that guide you in the vast territory of your inner world. Through them, in fact, you will receive messages and teachings that will help you understand yourself and your life purpose. A concrete example that Zhuan focused on was the dream of a flower garden, where each flower represented an aspect of his life. These intense and detailed dreams, he said, are rich in symbolism and give wisdom to your spiritual awakening. Another strange event that worried the young man was hearing strange voices inside himself. Inner voices are not a sign of madness, but a precious guide, Zhuan continued, soothing him. Imagine having an inner counselor who speaks to you in times of doubt. These voices are intuitions, internal guides, or divine messages that offer guidance in times of uncertainty or discouragement. Guan, to further reassure the boy, told of a time in which, listening to his own inner voice, he had made a decision that ultimately proved fundamental for his spiritual journey. Visions are windows through which your perception goes beyond the limits of the physical body, Zhuan said of another strange thing that had happened to the young disciple. When you see something beyond the tangible, you receive symbolic messages and spiritual revelations. Your task is to know how to decipher them, thanks to practices such as meditation, because only by cleaning your mind can you understand them. The tree that grows luxuriantly in the middle of the desert that you say you constantly see before your eyes, continued the nun, certainly symbolizes your inner growth even in the most difficult circumstances. Continuing the list of these strange events, Guan spoke of the phenomenon of waking up during the spiritual hours. 3:33 or 4:44 in the morning are special hours. Juan explained. Waking up at these precise moments indicates that your circadian rhythm is synchronized with cosmic and spiritual energies. Remember that these moments are propitious for meditation, prayer, or internal reflection. Juan shared the story of one of his teachers who, waking up at 3:33 in the morning, had received a clear vision that had guided him to solve a very serious problem affecting the monastery. The fifth strange thing that can happen to highly spiritual people is waking up in the middle of the night and feeling a sense of profound terror. Dealing with night terrors is like going through a dark inner tunnel, Juan said. Remember that these nocturnal experiences, although frightening, offer great opportunities for internal purification. Facing shadows and past traumas, in fact, promotes healing and overcoming blocks that could hinder enlightenment. Juan shared her personal experience of night terrors, highlighting how it helped her overcome deep fears, paving the way for greater spiritual growth and discovering the safety that lived within her.
Soon you will hear other signals that will leave you breathless. But in the meantime, let us know in the comments what you think of these strange experiences, and if you have experienced any of them. Furthermore, if you are appreciating the video, we invite you to like and share it, so as to help us produce new content every day for your spiritual growth.
Experiencing events in advance is another fundamental point on which the young and wise Juan focused. Imagine feeling in advance what the future holds for you, he said, looking into the young man's eyes. Living in synchronicity with events, knowing who you will meet or what will happen soon, shows that you have a sensitivity that connects you with the divine and the surrounding energies. Juan shared some episodes about other disciples of his who, having had intuitions, had avoided imminent danger, demonstrating how this connection could act as a guide in everyday life. While the young man listening to the nun had seen himself in at least 3 of the first signs he had heard about, Juan looked at him with compassionate eyes and continued. In addition to these experiences, there are still other oddities that often accompany those who possess a spiritual gift. I hope that these too can further illuminate your path, reassuring you as to the nature of what you are going through. Imagine being constantly surrounded by coincidences that seem too perfect to be random, Juan said. These coincidences have a purpose. They are signs that you are following the right path. They can manifest as chance encounters or events that link together in mysterious ways, revealing the presence of a force greater than us. Juan shared an incident in which, after praying for an answer, he received an unexpected message from a stranger who was unaware of his plans, confirming the right direction to take. Another strange, not to say disturbing, signal is that of sensing energy. Imagine feeling the energy surrounding every being and object, Juan continued. Being aware of the subtle vibrations that surround us can guide you in understanding the connections between all living beings. It's like reading the secret language of the universe, a skill that develops through the practice of awareness. Juan remembered a moment when, meditating in the monastery gardens, he felt the positive vibration of the trees, experiencing a profound connection with the surrounding nature. Another sign that a person has a spiritual gift or is experiencing a spiritual rebirth is to feel increasing empathy towards others. Imagine developing such a deep sense of empathy that you deeply feel the emotions of others, Juan said. This is not just compassion, but an intuition that allows you to understand other people's experiences on a deeper level. Juan told how, through meditation and the practice of mindfulness, he had developed an empathic connection that allowed him to feel the pain of others firsthand, but also to understand and help them in a more meaningful way. Imagine overcoming the fear of death, embracing the understanding that life is eternal, Juan said, introducing another strange occurrence common to the awakened. This does not mean ignoring earthly life, but understanding that death is only a passage. Accepting this concept is important because it can lead to a more fulfilling and anxiety-free life. I always remember the words of one of my wisest teachers: "Death is just a change of clothes. Life is an eternal journey." Communicating with nature was the other strange thing Duan talked about. Imagine becoming attuned to the voice of nature and its inhabitants. He continued, "Being spiritually awakened can lead to a deep connection with Mother Earth. Listening to the song of the wind, the murmur of the rivers, and perceiving the wisdom of the animals becomes an integral part of your spiritual path." Juan told of an experience in which, while meditating in the monastery garden, he had a close encounter with a wolf. The animal looked into her eyes for a long time, and she did the same to him. Finally, the wolf ran away, and the nun felt she had found an answer to a question that had been worrying her for some time. Another fascinating sign that people who possess a spiritual gift have in common is that of transcending time. Imagine perceiving time non-linearly, but as a continuous flow, Zhuan said. Being spiritually awakened allows you to transcend temporal limitations. Living in the present moment, in the here and now, becomes a tangible reality, and your perception extends beyond the past and the future. Juan shared a meditation in which, immersing himself in the present, he experienced a feeling of eternity, embracing the beauty of every moment without the oppression of time, which only brings anxiety. The young man, after listening carefully to the wise nun's explanations, felt an unprecedented sense of clarity and inner peace. The 12 oddities of spiritual awakening unfolded before him like a precious mosaic, illuminating his mind and his path.